Hey everyone, I'm Benj, and this is What Could Be Bad. Thanks for tuning back in with us. This episode, this week, this time, we have Alicia Mathews, who is joining us from the Make Wake team, an artist management group, business, and I'm really excited to have you. We were connected through the wonderful Sandy Abrams. I appreciate that you took some time out of your life to chat about yours.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
This is very fun.
Yeah, totally. And in Nashville, Music City makes sense to connect here with both of our, history in the music business.
Yes. Yep.
I like to start at the beginning whenever I'm talking to someone who's in music and ask what draws you to music, what created your passion for it?
I think my earliest memory is my dad. We used to drive around in his Jeep and we used to listen to Pink Floyd and we listened to Leonard Skinner. And I remember there was a Pink Floyd song called Money. Yeah. And I was so young that he would always turn it down when it said the curse word, when it said too goody good bullshit. He would turn it down. Yeah. And from then on, I remember he had this massive collection of CD tower, and it had the Eagles, and it had AC/DC and Zeppelin and Nirvana and all this stuff, and I just stole it. I just swiped his CD collection. I mean, and
I feel like our parents give us a lot of things, and what better gift than music?
What better gift? Or if they don't give it to you, just take it, apparently.
Yeah. That's okay.
Yeah, so,
he knows where it is, right?
Maybe. I don't know. It's somewhere with all of my CDs.
Maybe he's going to know soon.
Yeah.
If he checks out this
episode. Dad.
Yeah, totally. Oh, that's great. I think sharing that with the family, I just actually spoke with Pete Griffin from Musicians on Call, and he told some stories about listening to vinyl with his family, and I have some great, music memories with mine. The one that comes to mind hearing your story about driving with your dad is just like mine. I have this memory of listening to the Aerosmith Rocks album with my dad driving from Maryland to the Seven Springs Mountain Resort, the ski resort. When I was really young, we were in his old Ford Explorer. It was, there's a baseball, but my dad's super into baseball. And there was a baseball player named Whitey Ford, and I nicknamed his Explorer Whitey Ford.
That's a great nickname.
Yeah. Thank you. He thinks so too. I coin nicknames every once in a while, relatively well.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'll be waiting for mine.
I'll have a think on that, Alicia. Okay. I'll try to come up with a good one. Okay. I don't want to. You don't
have to force it.
I won't force it.
Yeah. Just let it happen.
Okay. I mean, AM's a good one.
It is a good one.
Peppy in the morning. You're not a morning person?
You know what? The older I get, the more I'm a morning person. Okay. I like my 9, 10 p.m. bedtime, and then I'm up at 7, good to go. Yeah.
Do you have a routine in the morning?
I do.
What do you like to start your day doing?
So normally I get up, make my bed, feed the dog. We usually go for a walk. I do a morning skincare routine. Sometimes it's not all in the same order, but it's the same series of things where it's go to the kitchen, get the water, and I actually have a journal because I've been trying to keep up with my habits.
That's great.
Of just did I do the thing that I said I was going to do? Yeah. And I actually write down today I did. And I'll be I drank my water, I did my morning walk, I took the dog out, I did my skincare, I made a healthy breakfast, whatever.
Yeah, that's great. Kind of checking in with yourself to make sure you're living the way you want to live. Yeah.
Trying to do that before I check the phone, but we're not quite there yet.
That's hard. I actually have the same goal, and I try not to even I saw something recently about you should never want to know or know what time it is during the night because it'll if our phone's there, obviously that's one of the things that's going to happen. I wake up sometimes, and now I'm trying not to do that. Something about just not that not being an instinctual reaction, I think is really helpful. And also to have time in the morning, to have that routine of healthy wake up stuff. Yep. Not immersing yourself in the social media. I think, have you heard of this thing do you do this or do you not check your phone because have you heard this same fact? If you check your phone first thing in the morning, you're more apt to do it throughout the day.
Oh, I haven't heard that.
It was I follow a lot of people on the gram. Okay. And there was a neuroscientist who was saying you interrupt the way your I don't know, like the alpha waves, or there's all these different kind of waves of how your brain works throughout the day. And at the beginning of the day, the phone will disrupt the normal course of your sort of alignment and circadian rhythm.
Interesting.
And
okay.
so basically, like, not checking your phone has benefits we don't really see
Yeah.
or know about, like, innately.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm doing it also because I spend way too much time on my phone,
On your
and I
phone.
don't want to. And it's actually starting to, like, I think, mess with my hands, perhaps.
Honestly, I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm going to die and my fingers are going to be like
Crinkled up like that. Yeah. Hopefully that doesn't happen for a really long
Right.
time. And you get some stretches.
just have time
going.
to like stretch them out. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good thing to do. When I had all my health issues during the pandemic, actually, I learned a ton of great hand exercises. So if you want any notes, or you want me to send you some silly videos of me moving my hands, like,
That
and
actually
showing
might be
you,
really helpful.
yeah, they're therapeutic things.
Yeah.
You know, and I learned them because I had to, but
Yeah.
now that I'm out of it, like, I actually
Yeah.
still use them, like, when I'm on tour, and
Okay.
and you know, they're helpful.
I mean, obviously playing with your instrument as well, like that
yeah.
requires some level of like taking care of your hands.
Yeah, totally. I mean, there's a bunch of different, like, just easy stretches. Just holding that for 10 seconds, holding that for 10 seconds will stretch all the tendons.
And like your
different-
wrists and stuff.
Yeah, your carpal tunnel stuff, all the myelin sheath around your carpal tunnel.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Noted.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. There's a bunch more, and there's some that involve, like, silly putty, which is pretty cool.
Ooh, that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Inner child.
Yeah, totally.
I'm like,
I mean,
can I have it?
look, we all want to play. We don't want
Yeah.
things to be too serious. You know, I think when they do get too serious, they get too stressful sometimes. Sometimes you got to be serious, obviously,
Yeah.
but there's a time and a place.
Yeah.
And hopefully not too often, in my opinion.
Too often, yeah. You know, back to what you were saying about checking your phone in the morning and kind of what our conversation is about with the music industry and all of that.
Yeah.
I was living and we don't have to go here right now if you don't want to.
No,
I was
I'd love to. I mean,
if you're ready to go in, let's go.
It's all fluid, and I really want to learn from your experience, and I want people to hear about you. That's why we're here. So please.
All right. Well, I mean, I remember ever since I started in the business, it was the first job I had actually been at a wedding, and I jumped on the phone with my pool in my dress because we were having such a good time, and the bridal party was jumping in the pool at the end of the wedding, and I was like, yes, this is so fun. And there's a picture of me with my phone like tucked into my dress, and I was like, oh. So I start my job the next, I don't know, that Monday or whatever it was, and I was like, guys, like, I don't have a phone. And they were trying to set up my email, and I was like, yeah, I'm getting a new phone in a couple days. Like, this is a really old phone. Like, can we just wait? And they were like, no. They were like, we want it right now. And I was like, okay, well, you're gonna have to do this again in a few days, but go for it.
Right.
Yeah, knock yourself out. So, and ever since then, you know, I've only had one job ever where my like email wasn't on my phone. It was because I wasn't allowed to have it on my phone because of the corporate policy of like the level of position I was at. And they were like, hey, you can't have it on your phone. And I remember coming out of a startup environment where I was like, hey, I need my email on my phone all the time. Like, I need to be reachable. I need to know what's going on. I need to like check in. I've got stuff to do, like whatever. And then going into like a corporate role where they were like, according to like your level, like you're not allowed to have it.
Yes.
And I remember
there's like security protocols and that kind of stuff that prohibits it from being on a personal device.
Yeah. And I was like kind of annoyed by that because I was like, what do you mean I can't have my email on my phone? It was almost like, what, I'm not like important enough to have my email on my phone?
Right. Does the CEO have the same situation?
Right. No, definitely not.
Right.
Definitely not. His email's definitely on his phone.
Yeah.
And I was like, I remember feeling like, oh, well, that's kind of weird, but all right. And now I'm like, can I please not have my email on my phone? But as I kind of came up in the industry, rolling over and checking my phone was like second nature. It was like, I rolled over and I was like, is my client okay? Did something explode overnight? Did the bus break down? Did we hit a bridge? True story. Did what?
We're going to come back to
We'll come back to that.
There's a story there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I was like, that just became an instinct for me to like wake up in the morning and be like, what happened? What happened in the 8 hours that I was asleep? My artist is on the road. We had releases coming out. You know, I was working at a majorly indie label at the time. It was very indie, but doing things on a big scale. And so in that role, I was kind of responsible for things that at that level, I probably in a normal organization would not have been responsible for.
Right.
But I learned a lot. It was great.
Yeah.
But yeah, so almost my entire career up until the last few years, I have just impulsively like checked my phone and been like, what's going on with everyone else around me? Is my team okay? Is my artist okay? Is my client okay? Did we, what did I miss?
Yeah.
Because I think there's a lot of urgency that's communicated where a lot of some things, yeah, absolutely. Like you hit a bridge, emergency.
Sure. And I mean, that's you taking care of your people.
Yeah.
There's a responsibility there. And I admire your dedication. But does it cross the line with what's healthy for you?
Right.
Where is that? And that's part of what I think it takes in some way to be a great, manager, because you're part of the team. And when someone's on the road, as I can share, it's not just during the show.
Right.
It's the whole tour.
It's the whole time.
And the tour managers who are out there, they deal with stuff in the middle of the night. They deal with it whenever it happens. And I mean, our management gets calls when they need to get calls, and that's part of it. But what did that feel like for you?
It felt like this constant, I was reading something the other day, and it's like that feeling of like, when you're about to like tip back in a chair and you like think you're about to fall. It felt like that all the time. It felt like you were like standing on the edge of something and that you just like misstepped and were about to like tumble.
Yeah. Wow.
And I think that's the gut feeling that I felt was like I was just like about to fall out of a chair at all times. And I was waiting for the next thing to fall. Like I was like waiting
There's an anticipation, and that's anxiety.
Yeah, it's an anxiety. Oh yeah, we definitely have addressed that in the last couple of years as well.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, thankfully.
Yeah.
Do you see a therapist?
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
me too.
I see a therapist every other week, sometimes weekly, depending on what's going on.
They're fluid with your needs.
We have a standing bi-weekly.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can go in between when you need to. That's a very similar thing to mine.
Yeah.
And I mean, God bless them for like the reflection and the ability to just like sit there and take in whatever we need to give.
Yeah.
I think it's so helpful. I just talked to Pete about this a little bit, and he was in the mindset of like, you only go to a therapist when there's like a big problem you need to resolve. But it's therapy like in a different way, where it's an ongoing, I don't want to say service, but it's like it's an ongoing like aid to living healthy mentally.
Yeah.
And obviously our mental health affects our physical health, which is a lesson I learned the hard way.
Yeah.
But it goes both ways, right? Because your physical health will also obviously screw with your mental health if you're not taking care of it. But so how did you get into therapy? Was it recent? Was it like something that someone like was like, you need to try this, or how did you get there?
This is a juicy one. So it was the pandemic, and I'm from Chattanooga originally in Tennessee, so a couple hours east of Nashville. And when the pandemic hit, we kind of went remote, and I moved home to be closer to my family because they live out in the middle of nowhere. And I was like, well, what better place to ride out a pandemic other than in the middle of nowhere with less people?
Yeah.
So I was working from home, and I had been in Nashville for 10 years at that point, and I really... this is a whole other story, but I was working 7 days a week trying to make ends meet. I was like on my label salary. I was working part-time in a boutique. And I never went home. I didn't see my family at all, which is, we could go for miles on that. But
yeah, I imagine they weren't too psyched.
No. And they, and there's a lot of things I missed. Like they were like, are you going to come home this weekend? And I was like, I can't, I'm working, and I look back on that. And so I moved home. And I was working remotely, and there were a couple of situations that came up that week where Nashville had just gotten hit by a tornado. It was when, was it? Oh my gosh. It was the basement east got hit by a tornado. And one of my clients was doing an album release show there.
That's a venue for
it's a venue.
Who don't know.
Yeah. Okay. It's one of the really, really great rooms in Nashville that a lot of artists play. And the artist was doing their album release show there, and we obviously had to move that. And so that had just happened. And so everyone I knew.
Was that a day of thing? Like it hit the same day as the release, or
it was like 3 or 4 days before.
So like very little time.
Very little time to like turn that around. And the exit in, God bless you, took us in.
Yeah.
So that had just happened. We had just had the release show. I had gone home that weekend, and a couple days later, my mom and I were cleaning out her closet, or my grandmother's closet, because the house that my parents are in now was my grandmother's house. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And my mom had just kind of never gotten to the point where she was going to be able to throw her clothes away, because her clothes were her favorite thing. It was like she loved to shop. She loved to wear beautiful things. And so my mom just hadn't cleaned that out. So we took an afternoon and we just sorted it all out, decided what we were going to do with it, and had done that. So the Nashville tornado, that was emotionally exhausting just for my mom and everything. And then it was the era of the puzzle. Did you guys do puzzles during the pandemic?
We did. I mean, I didn't, this is like, I just got like waves of like my stuff. And whenever I get triggers and I feel my anxiety again, I remember doing a puzzle and I couldn't stay awake, and I was like just a few pieces in, because I had such like serious stuff where the fatigue would set in, and it was partially like whenever I would try to concentrate, but partially when I would exert physical energy.
Yeah.
And sometimes it was like I had pains, and it was like, I remember this one time, everything hit at once. Sorry, I'm tangenting. Tangenting? Is that a thing?
It's a thing now.
It is now. Yeah. So tangenting, what happened was I felt the pain. I was getting sleepy, and I was like five pieces in, and God bless my wife. She was like, I really wanted to do this with you, but you need to go lay down. Like she had to tell, and I was like trying to stay awake, but it was so ridiculous to me. And I still hadn't, I don't think at that point, like identified what was going on with my body.
Yeah.
And so it was doubly stressful. Like, I can't even fucking do a puzzle right now.
Right.
You gotta be kidding me. Like, this is like what is wrong with me? You know, which is a whole thing. But yes, I did puzzles.
Puzzles, yes.
Or tried.
Yeah. So my mom and I got into this like puzzle phase, and we were just doing it one night, and I this was like kind of post a few other stressful events that week, and obviously pandemic. And I just happened to turn around, and I looked outside, and it was pouring rain. Our whole front yard was flooding, to the point where it was like starting to like creep up. We had to go outside and move the cars, because our driveway is like on a slight incline, but like not a lot. And we realized that the creek behind our house had jumped the bank and was like coming up over into our front yard. And then I was like slowly just like watching this water.
Do you have
like,
steps up to the house?
We do have steps, but it was like up to the first step. And I was like, okay. So that happens. So obviously, like, we're in a Sunday night, like we're in a panic. Monday, I think I was like on the phone all day. I had calls on the hour, every hour, just constant.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to have sent an email after one of those phone calls. And I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm going to do this tomorrow. I was like, I don't have the mental capacity to speak to another human right now.
You were spent.
I was done.
Yeah.
I was done. So I was like, I'm just going to go eat dinner with my family, email tomorrow.
Sure.
And so tomorrow afternoon rolled around, sent the email, finally got through everything from that day, sent the email, whatever. And I, long story short, ended up with a very not nice phone call from one of my bosses, not at the current company that I'm at right now.
Yeah.
And it was I can't even remember what was said to me, but it like shook me to my core that this was the reaction that I was getting over an email that I sent a day late. And my parents were in the room, and they were like, did that just happen? And I was like,
so they heard
the whole thing. And I was like, oh, okay.
Like, this is not a healthy thing.
No.
Did you attribute it to you, like, just like it purely being an email that was sent late? Or do you think there was sexism involved? And like, what was the most bothersome part of that happening? I
think for me, it was I took a break because I was spent after working for this client all day.
Yeah.
And then I do one thing on a timeline that doesn't add up to someone else's like unspoken expectation.
Right.
And all of a sudden I'm on the chopping block, and I'm like, whoa, whoa.
Yeah. And
so
it's
I
an
think,
email, like how vital to their success as an artist.
Yeah, and it was like the thing was going to happen. We were going to do the thing. It was moving forward. Like there was really no, like, other than being in the middle of a pandemic and having, being thankful to have a job and like not obviously wanting to mess that up, but like being like, hey, like there's a lot going on here. Like, can we just take a breath?
Like your house is about to flood.
Yeah.
You're working for an artist. You're spending your whole day on this stuff.
Yeah. And I was like, whoa. I think for me, it was the like visceral reaction that this person seemed to have over the very small infraction.
Yes.
I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was like a tidal wave reaction.
Yes.
Yeah.
Over a pebble.
Very small thing. Does this have anything to do with the bridge?
No. Okay. No, that's a different one.
Just checking.
No, it's a different story. Different story. We'll come back to the bridge. So, so I am like toddler boo-hooing. I'm a 32-year-old woman, and I am just like bawling.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, it's bringing it up right now.
Yeah.
So I'm just like crying my eyes out.
Safe space.
Mm-hmm. And my dad like sits me down at the kitchen table, and he was like, I have watched people in my family work themselves into literal death. He was like, there was a person in our family who worked herself to the point where she was so sick, physically, mentally, everything, that she passed away.
What?
And he was like, I don't know what else you're dealing with, but like, if you don't get help, like I can see that path. And I was like, whoa, okay. So it took my dad being like, he's
witnessing.
He's seeing it for the first time. And I would obviously arguably say that like prior to moving home, like my mental health was not great for various other reasons, like work, personal, there was a lot going on, but like that was the like straw that broke the camel's back. It was like this visceral reaction and me just like boo-hooing like a child, and my dad being like, you got to do something.
Yeah.
We've got to get you
saw
help.
it before you saw it. And he also had experience with another family member being lost to that. I mean, God bless him for, helping you through that. And like, so he said like, you need to do something, but you chose to go to therapy. That wasn't his direct thing.
No, he was like, he and my mom like were like, you should consider talking to someone. And I grew up and this is nothing against my parents, but I come from the generation of like therapy is for the weak. Like you don't get on medicine. Like you just tough it out. You suck it up. You
which is so healthy.
Put on your big girl panties. Yeah.
Sarcasm.
Yes.
You got that.
And I have to say like there is some of that did help in a way, like the sucking it up, pushing through, being strong and like building resilience. Like I don't want to discredit that in any way, but there is a point when which resilience just becomes I don't even know what the right word is, but
well, so, it's important to like be able to like lean on yourself and support yourself and to know you're strong enough to get through something. However, like those tools are not the only tools. No. Like you need to take care of yourself in a lot of different ways, I think, in the climate of our world right now. Yeah. And it's a wonder that maybe that person who yelled at you thinks they're fostering an environment where people would sustain that or be able to sustain that. Yeah. I don't quite understand those kinds of things because I don't think it's ever healthy. Like it doesn't get you anywhere to really scream and yell. It's almost like I see a lot of things reflectively through like how my kid reacts, and I've yelled at my kid. He's a child, and it's terrible that I do that, but I love him nonetheless. When these things happen, it's just I think part of it learning of like, did that help anything? Like afterwards? No. Like it didn't make things better. It probably made them worse.
I was terrified. I was like, every time I had to get on the phone, I was like, is he gonna yell at me again? It took me back to a very like young mindset where I was like afraid of getting in trouble. Like at every turn, I was like, I'm a grown woman. Like, why am I so like, but I mean, it's my livelihood, it's my job. So I'm like, yes, sir, like whatever. Yeah,
totally. I mean, that's a hard thing when you're balancing like your work and what you need for yourself. So it's like feeling that, like, was the next step therapy? Was the next step like, I got to get out of this job, I need to find something else? How did you process that? I think in that particular moment, I probably would have rage quit if I could have afforded to. If I was in a financial place to rage quit, I probably would have.
But I ended up going to therapy, and it took my therapist 6 months for me to commit to taking some kind of medication.
Yeah.
And it took even longer for her to convince me that some of the behaviors that I was experiencing from other people were manipulation. And I think to some degree, she over-exaggerated it so that I would believe it.
I see.
Like, she had to be like, this is not okay. What you're experiencing is not normal.
Yeah.
You don't have to be okay with this. And what I told her was like, I thought that everybody around me felt the way that I felt, but I was doing a bad job handling it. And I didn't know that I was like, oh, like, this is not how everyone else is currently functioning. Oh, okay.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot.
To like come to that realization through that much, back and forth is a heavy one. So you knew you needed to make a change.
Yeah. Yeah.
And did you have an idea of the direction, or did you sort of kind of like it was like piecing it all together like another puzzle?
It kind of felt like another puzzle. I stayed with that therapist for a while until I kind of felt like I was like, okay. And I did eventually let her prescribe me some anti-anxiety.
Yeah.
And I remember coming home from the doctor that night and my mom looking at me and she goes, you're already different. I had taken like 1 10 milligram dose of Lexapro.
Yeah.
And she goes, I can see your face is like relaxing and you are smiling. And she was like, I just asked you a question and you didn't snap my head off. And I was like, I didn't know that I was doing that.
Yeah.
Like, I had no idea. No idea like how much I was like holding everywhere.
Yeah. I've heard, and so I've had a similar thing when I started medication, that it was like it felt immediate. And then I talked to my therapist about that, and she's like, that's kind of the placebo effect.
Yeah.
Is because you almost like, you like trust that it's working.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, I finally went there.
Yeah.
And whether or not that's actually how it works, it doesn't matter to me.
Whatever
it is to like get you in a better place,
Yeah.
to me is what's important. And I don't like being reliant on medication or anything. And I can tell you were reluctant to do so as well. I get that. And I that's so reasonable. And, I think people generally, like, that's a hard crutch to lean on. But like, if you can go with it, I think when you do balance out from that, it can be a much better situation for yourself and those around you.
Yeah.
And it can enable a much better, healthier lifestyle, or life, not even just like style, but like you just live, you can live better. And that's like something you can't see before you start.
No.
But once you're there, it's like, oh man, I wish I would have done this, Yeah.
I wish that somebody had said, hey, here's 5 milligrams of Lexapro to take the edge off. Now go live your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you. And I mean, I feel like since all my stuff, I've had to sign up for a lot of medications generally, like between my thyroid issues and, like the anxiety and depression stuff I deal with, that it's better, but it's still there. It's just, it's kind of, it's like you have the ability to like rationalize it a little bit. You're not so like intense about everything, and you can sort of compartmentalize, like, I'm going to deal with that. I just need to focus on these things. And this is my process for it, or whatever, for like, like healthily handling it in a time and a place that's not like the stress compounds into a reaction, like to your mom and yelling.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm not I'm very chill. Like, I'm actually a very chill person. I'm like, whatever. But I was like, to hear my mom be like, and even to this day, like, if I know now that I need my medicine a little bit still. Yeah. Because I have tried to come off of it for a month or two at a time. And I have found myself like, I found the spiraling thoughts of like, if one little thing happens, I'll be like, oh no, this must mean that these 10 steps down the road are definitely happening and we're falling off a cliff right now. I'm falling backwards out of a chair.
That's such a great analogy. I'm going to be thinking about that one, like in circumstances. But so I tried the same thing where I was like, okay, like I rebalanced. I don't want to have to do this anymore. And I kind of like started to like decrease the amount that I took. Like I was like cutting pills like in half and then quarters and all that kind of stuff. But it just, I've realized that it's a chemistry thing. It's the way my system is. And I don't want to be like that, but
Right.
I just am. Okay, so we're both on the same page about this, is that like we need it, like unfortunately or fortunately.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I think it's good once you sort of, like a big thing I have in life now is submitting to the reality. And like, like it happened with my disease and my health issues and my mental health issues of like, okay, I just, this is how it is. Like I can't avoid this any longer. It's just part of who I am in this moment.
Yeah.
If it changes, cool, but I accept it.
Yeah.
And that is a big deal. So you accepted also that the work environment had to go. Or had to change, or what? How did that happen?
It changed.
Yeah.
After a while, I stuck it out because, I think prior to being in the role that I was in at the time, I started my job at a label, gone to another label, thought I wanted to be a lawyer, don't want to be a lawyer, ended up getting let go, and then start getting in with a startup. Startup goes under, so here I am, like jobless twice in like 2 years, which is not fun.
Probably scary.
And then it was super scary, and there was a time when I had a handful of freelance clients, and collectively they owed me like $10,000, and I just like the cash flow was not coming, and I was like, I'm in Nashville, and here I am again, like 30-year-old woman. Mom, I ran through my 401k, I ran through my Roth, I ran through this.
Wow.
I've been jobless for 6 months, but I'm supposed to have money coming in, but it is not coming. And so they had to pay my rent for 2 months until I finally got a great job working at the Pedigree Foundation with rescue dogs.
Oh my God.
I was doing marketing for their clothing line.
That's so wonderful. First of all, my pup is a rescue, and that's a wonderful organization and a great thing to spend your time doing. That must have felt so good.
It did, and I didn't appreciate it when I had it.
Oh, really?
No, I did. I did. I loved what I did, and I was having a great time. But I was like, I got to get back into music. I got to get back into music.
because your passion.
Yeah,
you weren't like living your identity.
Right.
Okay.
I was doing a thing, and I was having a good time, and I felt like I was making an impact, and I was like, this is cool.
Yeah.
I still want this.
Yeah.
That's why I came here. That's why I stayed here. That's why I'm here. And so when I took the job at my current company, I was like, this is my last ditch effort. I was like, if this is not the place for me, then I'm out. Then I was like, I will surrender, I will accept it, and I will bounce.
Yeah.
When I was at the Pedigree Foundation, I was dying. I was like, I've got to get back in the music industry. I was like, I love this. This is super fun. These people are wonderful. And then I was like, could I see myself going into a corporate marketing role? And I kind of tried that on, and I was like, no, I was like, that is not it.
Yeah.
And so when I got my position at Make Wake, I was like, this is it for me. I was like, this is my last attempt at the music industry, because I had been through so much, and I was like, all right, if this ain't it, then I'm gone.
Yeah,
I was like,
sure.
that at some point I was like, the universe is just kicking me out of here, and I got to listen. I was like,
Absolutely.
okay. So long story short, it has ended up being the best place I could have possibly ended up. But throughout some of the initial challenges that I had, I went to my now boss, and I was like, hey, I've got this idea, and you're already doing it. I was like, and I want to run with this.
Yeah.
Can I run with this? And he kind of looked at me like, yeah, okay. And he was like, go for it. He was like, I'll give you 6 months.
What is the
So
direction? I mean, you got to clarify a little bit.
Yeah. So we were funding some independent artists, and we had started releasing music on independent artists, but we weren't fully set up as a label.
Okay.
For a multitude of reasons. And my whole thing when I came to Nashville was like, I want to move to Nashville, and I'm going to run a label.
Yeah.
So I was like,
God
hey,
bless. That's a big goal, and a beautiful goal. Because I mean, you're helping artists share their message, their music, like their art. Like
and that's all I've ever wanted to do.
Yeah,
I
that's so
remember
cool.
my mom was like, what are you going to do? And I was like, I'm going to go find art that makes me feel something. And she was like, okay, cool. Like, I don't know what that means, but have fun.
Yeah,
Good luck.
yeah.
Good luck. And so I get into this role, and I was like, hey, this over here is not working. Mm-hmm. And he had every opportunity to be like, cool, see ya.
Yeah.
But I was like, I've got this idea. I put together this 8-page proposal, and I was like, this is what I want to do based on what we're already doing.
Yeah.
And so 2.5 years later, we're a department. We just hired my first team member, and we have 9 artists that we're doing independent releases for. And they range from artists who are more established that don't want to sign with a label, or artists who are developing. And we're trying to do it in a way that's like, I'm not going to go to an artist and say, well, I think this is your hit song, so this is what we're going to do first. And I'm like, what's your story? You tell me how you want to tell it, and I'll help you make it make sense from like a rollout perspective.
Yeah.
So it's kind of flipping the typical model on its head, and I'm going to the artist saying, no, you tell me, like, how do you want to tell this?
Yeah.
If you want to start with a ballad, if you want to start with your banger, I don't care what that is. Let's tell your story.
You want to support their way of doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like you're reverse engineering the process.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic because a lot of the process is broken in the way that music is consumed as much as like distributed now.
Yeah.
It's very, very different than, I mean, when I started, I was selling tapes out of a backpack that, you know, like from the trunk of my car or whatever in the high school parking lot.
At least you didn't have to do TikTok though, right?
Well, yeah, totally. Man, social media and I'm trying.
TikTok, tapes out of the backpack.
Yeah.
I don't know. The backpack thing kind of sounds fun.
Yeah, it was really interesting too because I mean my band we were like high speed dubbing tapes like every day after school because they were like people were buying them so we were like we need to keep doing this and eventually we got enough money from that to like go record another 4 or 5 songs and that became our first album, The Wanderer.
Yeah.
Which is pretty fun to think back on.
Yeah.
But anyway, I admire like that you had a big goal and it's like such a non-linear thing to go from where you started when you set that goal to where you are.
Yeah.
Looking at it from the now, how does it make you feel to like understand that you've accomplished that?
You know, it's most days I don't feel like I have.
Yeah.
Most days I feel like, I don't know, like most days I feel like I'm just not done yet.
Good.
Like I haven't told all the stories and I haven't supported all of our artists and I haven't done the real work. Cause like, I think one of my why is always to be an advocate for independent artists. Yeah. And so it's like, I just want to be an advocate for as many independent artists as I can. And I don't know when I'll be. I don't know when I'll feel like I got there. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
I mean, that's a great thing, though, to like know that you have more to do and to still be motivated to do the thing you wanted to do, that you know you love, that is genuinely helping people. Yeah. And I mean, I was talking to, again, I'm just going to keep telling stories about my conversation with Pete.
Please do.
But Pete was talking about how music really is healing. You know, and it really changes people.
Yeah.
You know, he was telling a specific story about going to a hospital and connecting, you know, with a person who didn't really want anybody to walk in the room and sing a song, but once they did, it was totally different.
Yeah.
So I think it's a wonderful thing, and especially to like help those independent artists and the artists that are like bigger but don't want to deal with the climate of like getting to a major label or any of that stuff, which is a very tangible, realistic, you know, thought these days.
Yeah.
You know, like what exactly is being brought to the table has changed a lot because the labels, I mean, they used to earn like $9 every time somebody bought an album or whatever, and you know they would sell millions.
Right.
And now
0.00437. Don't quote me on those numbers.
Well, yeah. Now it's like, how many streams can you get?
Yeah.
You know, and I think there's really smart people out there who are taking that into account and changing what they offer and how they offer and the business they offer. In fact, we're working on a new deal with a company. It's not finalized probably by the time this is all done.
Cool.
But but we took note of that we didn't want the same typical thing we had done for years. I think it's really attractive to artists to find people who will embrace their vision.
Yeah.
It's not easy to I think given how, I think from the artist perspective, just speaking as one of knowing when you output stuff, it's a very quick consumption or somebody scrolls by now.
Yeah, that's tough.
Whereas before, you know, having a CD that you loved, you would put someone in your car or, you know, not put them, I guess. That's
Put you in my car.
It's you know, you'd listen to an album with someone in your car or at your home, and it was like a shared experience.
Yeah.
And now it's very that's like a minute part of the consumption, which I have my own issues with about the art and all that of what's changed and what's attractive about doing it. But I think to know for artists to know that there's companies being mindful of that shift and being mindful of embracing their true desire, you know, and like letting that lead the charge is really a healthy thing for them.
Yeah.
That's something to be proud of, and obviously you're going to keep doing it.
Yes.
Which I'm psyched
As long as Make, Wake, and Cappy let me keep doing it, I'm going to keep doing it.
I'm sure they will. It sounds like you've got your finger on the pulse in the right way. And as long as there's no bridges that the artists hit.
Yeah.
What happened with that? Let's go there.
So I had, we have a family cabin in North Carolina that prior to the pandemic, because of everything we've talked about, I hadn't been there in like 10 years. I had gone maybe 1 or 2 times before this, and I would always text everybody and I would say, hey guys, we have no phone service, no internet, no TV. We have a radio that picks up a station like 3 hours down the road. Like it is in the middle of nowhere.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And I hadn't been in a while. And so my parents were like, hey, do you want to come up for the weekend? And I was like, sure, sounds great. Everything's fine. We have a tour manager, they're on the road. Everything's good, whatever.
Yeah.
And the only thing we didn't have that weekend was, the bandwagons. So it's not an RV, but it's not a bus. It's not a van. It's like a bandwagon. So it's kind of like a Class C RV. With
Yeah.
So we didn't have a bus driver. And our artist was like, you know what? I can handle this. And we're like, all right, cool. You can handle it. So I wake up Saturday morning, and luckily one of my friends up there has Wi-Fi. And so I would go over and I would just be like, hey, can I log on and like check my iMessage, check my email really quick, make sure we're golden on the road. And I have like 10 text messages. We hit a bridge. The AC unit ripped off the top of the
Oh my God.
And it's funny now, but it was not funny then at all whatsoever for anyone. And of course, me being me, I was like, oh my God, I took a break for the weekend and now my artist hit a bus and I'm not there or hit a bridge and I'm not there to fix it or help her or whatever. And so of course I'm like panicking. Not only am like, are we okay? Is the band okay?
Right.
Is the stuff okay? How much money is this going to cost us?
Yeah.
I'm not okay.
Clearly, in a vehicle, you need air conditioning, if at all possible.
Yeah. So on the off chance that I didn't roll over and check my phone, we hit a bridge. So trauma, I don't know if that's what that is, but that's like one of those
There's
experiences.
an element of that. Yeah.
I'm like
if you
that's what I was afraid of.
Yeah, like if you don't do it, if you don't check it, maybe something like that's happening.
Yeah.
There, a buddy of mine just told me about on your phone the do not disturb.
Oh yeah.
You can set for specific people to break through that, and I didn't even know that. Oh my gosh, but that may be really helpful.
Yes.
So,
or just well, and I didn't even have service. So at that point I was like,
you were just completely
off the grid.
Yeah.
But I do use do not disturb, and it drives my team nuts.
Yeah.
But I've tried to explain, I'm like, hey guys, like if you call me and it goes to voicemail, it's because I'm in a meeting, and whoever I'm in a meeting with, I'm going to give them my intentional time instead of looking over and seeing, oh, who texted, who called, and then my brain getting sidetracked and being like, oh, I wonder what so-and-so wants. It's like, no, I want to give the people that I'm with the time that they deserve, because when I pick up that phone, I'm giving you my time too.
Yeah.
Like all those other calls are going to voicemail, and I am focused on what this manager, what this artist, like what this team member needs. And it drives them nuts because they're like, every time I call you, it goes to voicemail. And I'm like,
because I'm working all the time.
But whenever other people call me and I'm talking to you, it also goes to voicemail.
Yeah.
So it
works both ways.
Yeah.
I think that's an extremely healthy setup. And like I can understand from your team's perspective why it's frustrating, because probably the majority of the people they know will pick up in a meeting, will answer no matter what.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of a systemic problem that we're so used to these devices being, making us accessible at every hour. And that's not really a good thing, as we've talked about. So like you, I've got a crazy bus story. We didn't knock off the AC.
Okay.
We went to visit our old tour manager's family home, kind of similar, like off the grid, way out there. And there was like I know this is about you, but we're having fun here too.
Yeah, I love this.
So there's a road that's like a levee, okay? And it's like a dirt road, and it's like one lane, and it goes like, there's fields on both sides that are down about 6 feet on the embankment on each side. Yeah. And we're driving out basically to the middle of nowhere of like upstate New York. And this is beautiful property. Thank you to the Foreman family for allowing us to go out there. And we turned the bus around in a field where the road met the field. Yeah. So that part was fine. And we park and we hang out, and we're shooting guns, doing ATVs and motorcycles, all over dirt bikes and everything all over the property, having a great day off. We watched Evil Dead in the middle of the night with the lights off, like total bonding experience with the brothers. And it was really fun. And, we had our late night fun and all that, and everybody ends up going to sleep on the bus because we were going to take off early.
Yeah.
And go to the next city, which I don't even remember where we were going, but I just remember waking up and not being able to get out of my bunk. And we had gone out on the road, and for some reason the driver basically was avoiding some tree branches. He had kind of like scratched up the side of the bus just a little bit. Yeah. And so he went farther to one side of the embankment instead of down the middle. And this is like a dirt road type embankment. This is not like a extremely well graded, like compacted thing that
you've got a tour bus on a dirt road.
And the tour bus has a tractor trailer on the back, or the not the tractor trailer, the storage trailer or whatever for all our equipment and, merchandise and all that. And so the bus basically here's the bus, here's the trailer, and the bus went down off the embankment and it jackknifed. And so the front of the bus was about 8 feet off the ground. Oh my And we had dug into that dirt road, and that jackknife was what was keeping us from moving. And we're one side of the bus is obviously the way it went down. It was I was on this side and I couldn't, and hopefully this is in camera. So I couldn't get out of my bunk, and then the guys on that side were falling out. And then we went to the front, and for where the door was positioned, it was because the front door is on this side, we couldn't, it was so heavy and it was at such an angle, we couldn't open the door. Oh my. And so we ended up basically going to the back of the bus, jumping out that side window that's the emergency exit window. Oh my gosh. And they had to get 2 tow trucks to winch. One was pulling us back straight onto the road, and one had looped a winch around a huge tree to counterbalance as they pulled it back. Yeah. So for those who think touring is just easy, doesn't cause anybody any stress, and it's this glorious party. Yeah, it has such wonderful benefits. There's so many great moments, but you never know when you're gonna wake up and have an issue, which for you is really, stressful as a manager to always wanting to be there. And I respect that you're dedicated. And that's a whole other thing, is how dedicated do you get to something before it's unhealthy for yourself? Yeah. And then the other side, as a band member, you're out there and you never know. We've hit, sadly, we've hit deer on the road, and and there's times the drivers basically are taught to drive through a problem, unless it's a car or a person or anything. But they're taught, if there's a deer, you don't try to brake, because then the band members can slam into the bunks or wherever they are. If you're, in the bathroom taking a, whatever, you can. You're not supposed to do that on buses. Taking a number one. The number 2 on buses, you never do that. Don't ever do that. It's terrible for everyone. It's rule number 1 of touring. Yeah, totally. And rule number 1 is about rule number 2. Yeah. So everybody's learning here out there. Yeah. We already knew these things. We knew this. Yes. Yeah. That's quite hilarious. I'm glad we got there with this. So I guess I want to get back to our serious discussion. But so now you're still evolving as an individual, which I love what you're working on with Sandy. I want to hear about that, because you're also, utilizing your wonderful experience and journey to help other people. And I think it's really important to talk about how you're not only reaching your goals and living healthy and making active choices that are good for you and good for your artists. Yeah. Which is a tremendous thing to be able to do. But the other side of it, where you're, adventuring outside of your comfort zone. Yeah. Tell me more about, because I'm looking forward to the things we've talked about that you're working on. But I don't even know the latest updates. And you can give what you want to give, but I'm all ears.
To be honest, I have we've been so busy, and I've been so busy that we haven't, I think maybe since the last talk, we haven't made a ton of progress. But our mission with Headset is to change the tune of wellness in music. So one of the examples that I always give when people are kind of like, what are you doing, is I like to say that, like, at this point in my career, blocking my lunch is a privilege, and I wish everyone had that. Yeah. I wish that at any point in my career, I could have said, you know what? No, like, I'm a human. I have to eat. I'm going to eat. And now I block my lunch. And, you know, sometimes I go in and I literally make myself a whole pan of salmon and vegetables, and I'll throw something. Sometimes I like pull out my meal prep. Sometimes I do answer emails. Sometimes I run an errand, whatever it is. But or I will take a meeting, depending on what it is. But I have an hour in my day in my calendar that is mine. And it is mine to do with what I need to do with it in the middle of my day, because I have to eat to sustain myself. And that's like the most basic thing in life, is like eating to sustain yourself. And I didn't do that for the longest time. When I was in corporate, or when I was in my first role, it was like we had a business lunch every day. We were out, whatever. And then corporate role was, you better hurry back. And at that time I was like, okay, if I'm like 10 minutes late from lunch this many times, and like I'm counting pennies on a paycheck at that point. I'm going, I can't be late. Or maybe I'm working overtime, you know, working through lunch and leaving, or whatever it was. But so Sandy and it's a lot. And I was like, you know, I just want everyone to have the privilege to like set that boundary of blocking your lunch, or blocking an evening to go be with your family, or blocking a morning. If you have worked like release nights, I'm up till midnight at minimum, sometimes 1 or 2, fingers crossed everything goes well, you know? And just kind of supporting our artists and our managers as we're rolling everything out and making sure everything looks good. And, you know, I am so privileged at this point in my career to be able to say, you know what, like I stayed up till 3 a.m. I can block my lunch, or I can cut it off at 4, or I can stop taking calls after 3 p.m. on Fridays, you know, and that's not a privilege that everyone who works in the music industry has. And so that's kind of what Sandy and I started with that example, but really it's like when we're talking about touring and we're talking about well-being, and we're talking about how to sustain a road crew, and how to sustain as an artist and as an employee, as a business on the business side. There are so many ways in which I did not take care of myself. And it's so easy when you're traveling, you're on the road. Like, I'm guilty of it now, even with like the healthy habits that I've built for myself in my daily life. Like, I will like roll up to the airport and get a what is it? The smash burger,
Shake Shack.
Shake Shack. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I know.
Airport Shake Shack. And I'm like,
that's a crutch we all can lean on.
And I'm like, I should probably get a salad. But I know to make healthier choices, and it's still difficult. So it's like when you're in a situation on the road, or you're in a situation with an artist or a team, and you're like, your resources are limited, your time is limited. If you're an independent artist or a younger act, like your funds are limited. You only have so much. So Sandy and I were like, well, what can we do to make wellness as a whole, not just mental health, but like wellness as a whole, actionable? Because we have a lot of conversations. We talk a lot about mental health. We talk a lot about wellness, but we're like, okay, how do we actually find ways for people on touring crews and in the business to be well and be okay as humans? Because we are taking care of creatives.
Yeah, totally. There's a lot that goes on the road that is like unspoken pressure, and the relationships that you have with people that are not on the road with you are a lot, you know, and take a hit when you're out there, you know, and the balance of keeping in touch and being present out there. It's possibly one of the more exhausting aspects that nobody gets unless you're out there. But it's also like you're happy to have the opportunity to keep going out there and doing what you love, but it does take a toll on yourself and on the people around you. And I mean, that's a big thing to take on. I think generally, like, it's a necessary thing, and I'm hopeful, like, however you guys want to approach it, you know, like, I'm there to support, because I think it's needed, and I think there's a lot, there's a big gap between where things are at and a healthier way
where they could be.
So I'm hopeful that you guys can make a big dent in that, and let me know if there's any support I can offer, because it's wonderful that people who like aren't in it, like on the road, see that and are going to help, you know, because I think there's that relationship between the two that it really takes seeing it from both sides.
Yeah.
And your understanding from the artist's point of view after all these years, you've seen
it.
the weight of, you know, what it can mean on the road. Have you lost artists, not like lost them,
Yeah.
but like have artists like not been able, that you know, you don't have to name names obviously, but have you seen people who just won't want to tour because of what it can do to you or to their relationships?
Not personally, but I have seen lately, I've had a few friends call me and say, I just wanted you to know that I'm not pursuing this path anymore. And that's hard to hear, you know, because it's like, man, it's like, how are we failing them at this point? Like, how are we failing?
Yeah.
Like, how is the system that we've set up and run with for so long? Like, and this wasn't really touring related, you know, specifically, but
Sure.
it was, hey, I've got this show it's calls like, hey, I've got this show opportunity, but it's the only weekend I have with my husband. Do you think I should take it?
Right.
And my question to her question was, is it an audience that you need to get in front of? Is this going to move the needle for you?
Yeah.
And if it's not, then I say don't take it. And then it was, is my agent going to not book me because I said no? And that was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I was like,
It's no longer about them, their personal feelings and like as an artist, what that means. I think that's where it's tricky is like the art is a business. And I mean, good on your artist for knowing that, but also like it's too bad, like to your point, like we are failing them if we can't put them first.
Right.
Because at some point that deterioration of their ability to just emote the way they want to,
right,
and when they want to and how they want to, all that stuff falls apart. That's really interesting. I'm glad I asked you that. And I'm glad no one like completely like left it that you were working with as well.
No, I haven't
I have
experienced that.
You like foster a very healthy environment for the people you work with.
I try really hard.
Yeah, I can tell.
One management client currently, and he would totally laugh for me telling you this, but just this morning I was like, maybe you should take a break.
Right.
I was like, have you thought about going on vacation?
Yeah.
And he was like, well, my life's kind of a vacation. I don't like work, you know, a 9 to 5. And I was like, that doesn't matter. I was like, it doesn't matter the hours that you work. It's the amount that you're putting in. You only have so many creative juices that you can get out all at once. Like you've got to go find some inspiration.
Yeah.
And I tell him all the time, I'm like, have you, you know, it's okay. Like you can like chill for a sec.
Yeah.
It's fine. Like, and I think
knowing your boundaries.
Yeah. And I think for me, like on the business side of things is nobody ever said, hey, you can set a boundary. It was always like, if you don't do the thing when someone expects you to do the thing, thinks you should do the thing, you know, especially if it's like an unspoken thing, it's like, I was like, I'm going to lose my job and then someone at Belmont's going to come take it from me. And that was kind of the mindset that I kind of came up in the business.
Yes.
And as I've progressed and, you know, there is like that prove yourself process where you kind of have to keep pushing. And I think that's to your point earlier where I'm not done yet.
Yeah.
Like I'm not done proving myself. I'm not done showing our team and the business like what our roster is capable of.
Yeah.
But I've also started in that taking such good care of myself. And if I didn't do that, I couldn't show up for them the way that I can right now. If I didn't go to yoga, if I wasn't drinking water, if I wasn't going to therapy, if I wouldn't be able to show up. And I believe that's the same thing for an artist too. Like if you're on the road and you're expected to be on social media and on tour and you're supposed to be, you know, especially if you're developing, you don't have the whole team to 100%. Take care of you. So your brain is going 100 miles an hour. And I think it's like at some point you have to be like, okay, this is what I'm going to focus on. This is what I'm going to do really, really well.
Yeah.
And like set that boundary and it's okay, you know?
I do know. And
I
think that's awesome because obviously it's necessary, but a lot of people never do that. And then I think what they can provide their artists falls apart, deteriorates, all of those things again. Like, and that's not the idea. The idea is to set up a sustainable way of working where you can continue for years and years and years. And then that benefits the artists over and over.
Over and over again.
Yeah, and obviously taking good care of yourself is so important.
Yep.
Talk to me about your van and,
yeah.
and how you're building a lifestyle for
Yeah.
yourself with that, because I find it absolutely intriguing and awesome.
Yeah.
And I want to hear your take and also where you're at with it.
Okay. So interestingly enough, the van idea stemmed from a mental health moment that I had in the music industry.
Yeah.
Who's surprised here? No one. And I was at the beach with my family for a very brief getaway.
Okay.
And the whole time I was down there was a lot going on, and I was so plugged in, and I was not being the daughter that I wanted to be, and I was just focused on work, and I was like, I gotta get back. I gotta go. And so oddly enough, there ended up being a hurricane coming in. And so meanwhile, I'm having internal panic attack about the fact that I'm not in Nashville for this thing that I need to be there for, or that I think I need to be there for, whatever. And the hurricane comes, and we've got to go. So we leave like 3 days early, drive back home. And on the way home, I'm looking on Instagram, and I'm just like scrolling mindlessly. And I see this girl, and she's like, why I chose to live in a van. I don't know if that's exactly what she said, but it was like a little reel TikTok, and it was like, why I da-da-da-da. And it was like, I was burnt out. I was doing this. And I was like, what is this van life you speak of?
Yeah.
And I had gone on a trip like 2020. Don't judge me. It was the end of the year. Things were kind of starting to open up, and
Everybody needs to do whatever they need.
Yeah.
To do.
But we went to the parks. We went outside, and I went to the Grand Tetons, and I went to Yellowstone with two friends who work in the music industry.
Yeah.
And we ended up doing a 17.5-mile hike on accident. And I was like,
wait.
yeah, that's another
accident?
story.
That's a long accident.
It was a very long accident.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was one of those things where we had hiked 10 miles on purpose the day before.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I'm going on a million tangents right now.
That's
so
what this is.
Go with me.
It's just stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're just talking.
So we were like hiking, and we went on this trip, and I was like, I haven't been to the mountains. Like, I've never done anything crazy. I've really never been to any national parks other than the Smokies, which is like 2 hours from my house. So I was like super pumped. We go, have the best time. And I was like, I love the mountains again. Like, I'd forgotten that I love to hike, that I love to be outside, that I needed nature. So long story short, we hiked 10 miles the day before. The next day, there's like a loop that we were going to do. And it was either 5 miles, 8 miles, or like 15 miles. And so we go on this hike. And when I tell you, by the time we got back to the 5-mile mark, I was crying. I was in pain. My hips, like one of the girls got altitude sickness, so she was unwell. My hips were in pain. The other girl runs marathons, so she was like, what are you guys doing? Like, come on, athletes, let's go. Yeah. And I was like, I'm dead right now. I'm sorry. Wow. So we knew that if we decided to do this loop, that it was going to add on time.
Okay.
Because we were going to miss the ferry back across the lake, the whole logistics. It was going to throw a wrench into the whole plan. But everyone kept saying, it's so worth it. You should go. It's awesome. Like, the view is incredible.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
So we're hiking back.
That's cool.
And
it's satisfying to do a hike because you're like conquering, the distance and the challenge of whatever the climb and the walk is and all that. Yeah.
The best part about this story is, there's 2 really good parts. The best part is that if someone had woken me up that morning, I've been like, hey, you're going to go hike 17.5 miles. I would have been like, absolutely not. We are not doing that today. But that gave me a sense of like, what else can I do that I'm holding myself back from?
Yeah.
And if I had known that I was going to hike 17 miles, I would have said no. But the fact that I just kind of had to, I like did it. And I was like, okay, well, if I can do that, what else can I do that I'm like telling myself that I can't do? Yeah. So that was cool. And then the last part of that is we had met up with some people that we'd seen back on the trail, and we were all walking together, and my hips, my knees, everything hurt. I don't even know how I was functioning.
I can understand. Yeah.
And so there was one girl in the front with a flashlight, one girl in the back with like the hiking poles and like another flashlight, and I had the bear spray in the middle because it's pitch black in the middle of Grand Teton. So it could have been bears, it could have been humans, it could have been mountain lions. Who knows? Like anything hungry at that point, we were toast.
Coyotes, wolves, all the business.
Bison, I don't know. And so,
I feel like bison are really friendly, but okay.
I don't know. I've seen them
unless
like,
you get too close. Yeah.
So we're like walking around and I stepped down off this rock. And when I did, I hit the lever on the bear spray and I bear sprayed us at the end of a 17-mile hike. We were like 2 miles from the car. And so we're all of a sudden it just goes and
It's like pepper spray? Oh,
like
Jesus.
really strong pepper spray. Like it was awful.
Yeah.
So
Oh my
me and
God.
the other girl just got blinded immediately. Luckily, the people that we were with on the trail were, one of the guys was not in the SWAT team. He was like a state trooper, I think. And so he was like, don't touch your eyes, don't move, give me all your water.
Yeah.
And so he's just like pouring bottles of water into our eyes.
Yeah.
And that was how we still had to walk like 1.5 miles. So every time we laughed about it, it just kept coming down. Like it was hysterical. Now, once again, now it's funny.
If you can look back and have a good laugh on the things that are really painful in life, like it does help.
And the girl and I are still friends. So that's good. The friend that I bear sprayed.
You didn't lose
I didn't lose a friend over it.
Bear spraying her? Yeah.
No.
Wow.
So anyway,
Good.
back to the van.
Yeah.
So I'm out there and I'm like, oh my gosh, I love this. What is this whole other world of like beauty that I've been missing out on? And when I was in Nashville, I remember when the pandemic hit, I was like, we had a whole week of shows in New York. We had a late night show. I was about to hit the road again. I was on the road and we were hitting the road again. And I remember sitting in my apartment with a bottle of wine and I was like, well, what do I do? Like, who am I outside of this? I had no idea. I was like, I don't know who I am other than Alicia from insert company name. Like, I had no idea. And so that's when I like ended up moving back to Chattanooga.
Yeah.
And I was on the way home from that trip with my family. And I was like, saw this girl living in a van. And her story was just I resonated with it because I wasn't miserable in my job necessarily, but I was just kind of like functioning as like half a human.
Yeah.
I was like living this like half life of everybody else's needs and wants and desires before my own, but I didn't even know what mine were.
Yeah.
And so I see this girl and I'm like, wait a minute, that's cool. And so I thought about it for 3 years. 3 years. I was like, should I buy a van? Should I get an apartment? Should I move back to Nashville? Should I stay in Chattanooga? Should I do both? Should I do more than one thing? Like, how am I going to afford this? Like, what does this even mean? Like, what is an electrical system? I don't know what a solar panel is. Like, whole thing.
There's so much to it. It's like a mini house that you have to like condense everything into this very small space.
Tiny space.
Yeah.
And so I was like, it took me 3 years and I would go look at apartments. I would go look at houses. I would go look at vans. I would go look at RVs. I would be like, ooh, maybe I'll get one that's already built so I don't have to do it. No. And every time that I went to look for something else, it's kind of like my journey in the music industry. Every time I looked outside of it for like what I should be doing or trying to find my purpose, I was like, it always kind of pulled me back in.
Sure.
It's kind of how I felt about the van. I was like, I want a van. I'm gonna buy a van. And I think I knew it probably 6 months before I did it.
Yeah.
Because I was like looking and I was joking with my mom and I was like, one day I'm gonna wake up and there's gonna be a van in the driveway.
Yeah,
and she's like,
great.
I hope you do. And I was like, okay. So
Parental approval is a helpful thing.
that was interesting because I felt like I really needed her sign off to be like, you're not crazy. I think they still think I'm crazy for doing it. They're like, you could build a house, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, but you can't take it to all the national parks.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Like there's a beautiful thing in that.
Yeah. And so I was actually in Nashville for my current client, his album release show back in July of 2020. What year are we in? 2023. And I had stopped on the way in to look at a van. And I was like, okay. All right. And so while I'm sitting in the lobby, they're like running my credit, giving me my numbers, all the things. And one of my best girlfriends called me and I was kind of like looking for a sign. I was kind of like, all right, should I do this? Like, am I doing this right now? Like, is this happening? Is this the day that I buy the van? And my best girlfriend calls me and she says, hey, she's like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm sitting in the dealership. Like, what are you doing? She's like, are you buying a van? And I was like, maybe. And she calls and tells me that she's having her second baby. And I was like, for some weird reason, I equated like her calling me in that moment with like a sign from the universe that I should just do the thing. So I was like, I'm going to do the thing. And awesome. I was listening to a Chris Stapleton song, Nobody Wins, Afraid of Losing.
Yeah.
And I was like, I heard Starting Over and I was like, today's the day. We're going. Thank you, Chris Stapleton. And I just bought it. And so now I've had it for, I don't know, like 8 months or so, whatever. What month are we in? May, April? I guess almost a year. And I have a subfloor. I have insulation. I have purchased my electrical system. So I have all the solar panels. I have the batteries. I have a lot of parts and pieces that I'm not quite sure what to do with yet.
You can figure that out.
I will figure that out. Lots of Googling and YouTubing. So that's kind of where I'm at with it currently.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, another dream that you brought to life.
Yeah.
I think it's great. And the purpose of that is to be healthy, connect with nature, to get out of your headspace. But you can also do that while you work.
Yeah.
Which is, right? Like that's kind of part of it.
That's the goal. Yeah. Is to be fully capable of like living off grid.
Yeah.
So if I want to go park my van in the middle of Arizona and release music from Arizona for a little while, I can do that.
That's so cool.
Please let me do that.
Hopefully you don't have to like upload huge amounts of gigabytes.
Right.
Which I dealt with last night trying to figure out how to get this. And thank you, David Koretz, for helping me. So I think that's such an admirable thing as well, because like you're building the life that you want, and it's so far from that painful phone call. And it's not, I use the word linear all the time in these because I feel like none of this is linear for anybody.
No.
Like it's like a constant figuring it out, just like therapy.
Yeah.
You know, you're almost like piecing your life back together when you realize that it's broken.
Yep.
And this process for me, this conversation, along with all these conversations, is very much that for me, because I'm trying to figure out my thing, you know, after all the shit I dealt with.
Right.
And I'm still dealing with, to be honest. But I'm really thankful that there's people who not only care about the artist making the art that much, but also have realized it's so important for them to care about themselves simultaneously and equally, if not more so, and that you're living the way you are. And I think it's a wonderful example for so many people to realize that even when things seem like so far away and so difficult to reach and like so amorphous as like what the goal really is, but it's in this direction.
Yeah.
Like you kept at it. Pardon the noise.
Yeah.
You kept moving towards your goal in this non-linear way, but you never gave it up, and you got close. But that's also just like you're listening for a sign the day at the dealership. I think that's like your universe, like helping you get to the right place at the right time.
At the right time.
Yeah, it's really wonderful and a beautiful story, and I'm excited to see how you evolve the career and the van and your work with Sandy. I'm really happy that we can connect here, and
Likewise.
I hope maybe we can do this again in some time.
It'd be fantastic.
And kind of check in with each other.
I would love that.
Yeah,
Would
me
love
too.
that.
Me too. Thank you for all of this.
Yeah,
I mean, I always
thank
toward the end of them, and it might not even be the end if we go on another tangent.
Yeah.
But, which I'm
We totally could.
Totally could. Happy to do it. But I like to ask if there's any certain circumstance that you remember in your, transference, in your experience of leaving, like what could be bad about that and getting to what is really good about, where you're at. Yeah.
You know what I've heard this somewhere, and it was like, listen to your anger because it's trying to tell you something. And that has kind of stuck with me, is like, listen to those moments when you're angry about something and you feel like the situation that you're in is not where it's not right. It's not where you should be. Something is off. And it doesn't always mean that you have to like obviously go explode and rage quit your job and like, but it's like learning to listen to your body. And I learned a lot about that as I was kind of transitioning out of this. I kind of call it like before Nashville and after Nashville, or like in Nashville and after Nashville, of just like listening to myself and listening to my gut, because that has been a huge thing, is like learning to trust myself when I'm in a situation that I don't feel like is good. Or that could be better, or that is not being properly handled. I can listen to myself and trust that it's probably right. And like the things that you get angry or that upset you, like really show you like I don't know what the right term is for this, but it like shows you that like, it's almost like, don't know, help me here. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like,
it's leading you.
Yeah.
It's like it's putting something in front of you that you have to like consciously recognize.
yes.
Yeah, I hear you.
And sometimes
I was
you're
allowing
tracking.
you to- yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And sometimes it's something that I need to work on. You know, sometimes it's a trigger. Sometimes it's a visceral reaction. And then sometimes it's something that needs, you know, kind of external investigation and say, okay, like, why am I affected by this? And what is actually happening here? And how am I perceiving it? You know?
I do.
So that's kind of been something that's been on my mind as I've kind of made, like, listening to my body and my emotions and my feelings, like not just anger, but anything, like
all of them.
examining the things that like light you up. Like I know when I go see one of my artists play live, I am elated. I am watching from side stage like a proud mom.
Yeah.
I'm like loving my life.
That's so awesome.
So
I think that's a wonderful hot tip.
Yeah.
You know, like really paying attention to your emotions. And I mean, especially anger, right? Because anger is something negative that we don't really want to have to feel, but we have to acknowledge it because it's telling us something, that a situation may be unhealthy. We need a change, you know, that whatever it is, there's something going on that isn't sitting right with our chemistry. And that's a very important thing to dial in on. So I love that you touched on that as a closer for this, because I think it's something I need to do more of. Sometimes I don't listen. Sometimes I ignore it and I push it away, or say I'll deal with it later, or this is not something I can do anything about.
Right.
So I'm just going to keep that in. But listening to it and dealing with it, and, you know, like nobody, I mean, maybe some people want confrontations or whatever to deal with that stuff, but it's also, I'm speaking about a confrontation with yourself and like the internal introspective side of like having anger. Like there's ways to deal with stuff that doesn't produce anger.
Right.
You know, like if you can think through a thing and not let the anger lead. You know?
If you have time to like take a breath and pause and be like, okay, like what is this person feeling? Like what is their perspective? And then like, what am I feeling? Like this person, not to like psychoanalyze, but like this person might have something going on in their life, or this person might need validation in a way that I don't need validation, or this person might be seeking something that they feel like they're not getting. And maybe I'm feeling overwhelmed. You know, I tend to find myself like, there's a lot of requests that come in and I'm like, oh my God, if one more person asks me for one more thing right now, which are fully in my, like the realm of my job description.
Yeah, I bet when you turn your phone back on, like there's going to be,
I don't want to.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, like take a step back. Like you're not actually mad at the person. What they're asking you is not unreasonable. You're just overwhelmed by the amount of things that are like currently
on your list.
Yeah. And so it's like being able to kind of like break that down, that like overwhelmed feeling of being like, okay, it's fine. You're fine.
Yeah.
You know?
Totally. I think that's a super, like, what's the word? Like, I don't know, you're really in touch with yourself if you're able to do that. And that's very important, you know, to live healthy. We all need to do that.
Yeah.
God bless.
Therapy.
Yeah, therapy will help you do that for sure.
Yeah.
Listen, so that was a great finish. I really appreciate that you shared that and all of this. You know, I really admire the way you're living your life. I'm glad you are, and you're helping people that could be my next favorite music to listen to.
Yeah, I hope so.
I love that. Yeah, and in fact, I need to make sure I'm up on your entire roster.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask you after this to give me the full download.
I will give you the full rundown.
Yeah, I want a Spotify playlist.
Oh, got you.
Yeah,
yep.
Cool.
Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah,
this was so great. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm so happy that this worked out, that we can meet up today.
Likewise.
So everybody, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back another time with another episode, probably next week at this same exact time, or whenever you choose to listen to it. Take care, be good to yourself, and be good to others. Thanks.
Yeah,
we did.
That was so great.
Thank you.